can't reach the back one. Whoa. Fancy.
Thank you. Now, can you see a little bit more of the... Where do you want me to stand?
Should be okay to be like that. Am I in your guys' way down there?
I don't think so, no.
No. We're about a little less than 3 out.
Since you guys are on live, do you want to start with your questions first? That way we're not all...
Sure, yeah. Sure, they're all going to be pretty much the same. So, yeah, that sounds good to me.
Sometimes I hate these because I'm like, I have a question and then like...
Somebody beats you to it?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to like awkwardly just like be like, oh crap.
There's no easy way to get over here from City Hall.
There's no easy way to get from my office. You have to go through East Grand Rapids and there's
Hey,
construction.
Catherine.
No, Fulton. Just down Fulton.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Might be a little choppy, but I got it. Got it, yeah. Okay, cool. All right, Wayne, they're going to give me a heads up when they're coming back, and then I'll just kind of let everybody know. Is that cool with everybody?
Do you mind
We're about
going
2 minutes
between
out.
you and the next one?
No, that's fine.
How close is it?
1, 2.
Wayne, come close.
Yep.
Yeah, just do.
You can come close. Yep.
Yeah.
It looks really
You
official.
don't smell, we smell. Speak for yourself. Besides this, how's your morning been going?
This has been my morning.
Yeah.
You know, you get that call at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Something's not right. Okay.
Yeah, we showed up expecting to just turn back around, that it wouldn't be anything substantial or like.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm sure that's.
Years ago, we had something down about half mile that way. It was big.
Oh my gosh.
We're about a minute out.
Are they just gonna toss like right here?
Basically, they'll tell me to go, and then they're going to say joining already in progress kind of thing. So,
Gotcha.
Steve, I'll ask you the first question just so we're all organized. I guess, or not Steve, Wayne. Steve, I'm going to tell Wayne. I'm going to ask Wayne the first
That's
question.
fine. Don't ask me the questions.
Yeah, about 40 seconds. My son will just take as long as they want. Are you recording this? Okay, Wayne, could you just tell me what exactly is going on here behind us? What happened?
Yeah, down at the intersection of Adams and Philadelphia, there's a 24-inch water main break that's ongoing. Crews have been responding since this morning, late this morning to a few hours back to try to get in there, get all the valves necessary to shut down a transmission main like that. Unfortunately, some of the local mains are tied directly into this transmission main, and there's some houses that have services off of it. So it's making it a little bit more challenging to get the water off. These are some big valves, have a lot of turns, plus it's old infrastructure. So they're struggling to get the shutdown, but we're getting close. Right now, everybody has water service, water pressure. Water is safe at this point. However, once they do get the shutdown, there will be approximately 100 to 125 homes that will be impacted where the water will be off while they make the repair. At that point, we'll issue a boil water for those homes because of the full loss in service.
Any idea what caused this at this time?
We don't know at this point. We haven't even seen a failure of it yet. We haven't been able to get down to the actual pipe yet because the water's still active in the hole. You know, older infrastructure like this, it could be a crack around on a pipe. It could be a longitudinal split. We've seen situations where top sections of pipe have completely blown off as well. So at this point, we don't know.
Have you seen anything like this before?
Oh yeah, these types of incidents has happened before. probably something like this. It's been probably about 10, 20, 15 years since we had a big break like this on a transmission main in this particular area of town.
Can you put into context what makes this break different than the one we had a few months ago?
This one's a little bit different simply because there's areas for it to work around in the system. There's not a direct interconnect. Plus, there's ways for the pump station to continue in operations and work around this break, which was what we've been able to do. We've been able to get the pressure around and maintain and sustain a working pressure. Pressures are lower in this area right now with that set, but it's still an effective working pressure for people in the homes.
What are some things that residents or commuters should know regarding this area right now?
Stay away from the intersection, stay out of it. There is a fair amount of water that is collecting in the valley just to the north of Adams. There are some homes that are going to have some water in the basement. There's going to be some cars that are going to be impacted by flooding water in that low area. We're recommending that we're going to have staff go door to door to the properties that are impacted by the water that's flooded down there. Make sure that they know what they need to do in terms of getting a hold of risk management, their insurance, their attorneys, and things like that about the claims process.
You mentioned that this main is old or aged infrastructure. Was this a main or water main that the city was already looking to replace in the future?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. We don't have this one in our master plan. It doesn't mean that we can't add it at some point. The city's got over 1,300 miles of water main in our system. We've got pipes that are older than this, but at sometimes when you get some of the leaded joints and things like that on these pipes, things can happen. You know, we've had, like I said, 24-inch pipes like this break. It's not totally uncommon, but it's not like it's going to happen every other year, every third year, fourth year, or every day even. It happens every 5, 10, 15 years we have a situation like this.
Residents who might not be staying in their home and might not be around when someone comes door to door, what are the resources available?
So what happens is those that are impacted, we'll try to leave a note with them, okay, if they're not home, in terms of our staff going door to door. Those that are impacted by the actual shutdown, which right now is going to be Adams for a couple blocks. Then there'll be a few side streets that are impacted as well. We're actually going to have staff, once the water is shut down and we finalize what the limits are of the shutdown, we're going to have staff go door to door with those people. There will be a reverse 311 notification of the boil water. We're also going to deliver a gallon of water to them for usage, plus put the boil water notice on that bottle of water when we drop it off.
And do you have any idea how much water has flown from the break? Because the water levels looked like they were a lot higher at some point this morning or last night.
We've been able to isolate a few valves, which has limited the flows and stuff like that. I can't put a number on the amount of water at this point. It's simply too hard to gauge at this point.
Last time this happened a few months ago, the city gave out water at different spots around the city. I know you said that they'll be dropping off jugs, but is that going to be the case again with?
We're talking in the neighborhood. That situation impacted tens of thousands of customers. This situation is going to impact maybe 100 to 125. So with the scale of it, it's a lot less, which allows for our staff to be able to go door to door to hit those impacted people. The one before, because of the outage and the pumps dropping offline and a full quarter of the section losing pressure, that one we had to do a boil or a water distribution site. We're not going to be doing that this time. It does not warrant it yet.
Do you happen to have a timeline of when residents can expect the water to stop flowing or crews to kind of get
I was
out?
hoping that the water would be stopped already, but it's not. They've had to fall back on the west end to some larger valves, and every time they fall back, it's going to impact more people. So at this point, we're hopeful that we can get it shut off here in the next hour and a half in terms of the water flow, and then it's probably going to take a day or two to get the repair made, and then once the repair's made, then you've got to go through the sample collection process like we did on the previous bills.
Will this affect residents' water bills at all?
No, there should be no impact on the water bill whatsoever. Nope.
And is there any sewage expected to be in this water? that's
No
flowing?
sewage in this water at all. Nope.
So just to clarify, right now they're working on getting that water shut off?
Yep, we got to get the water shut off, see exactly what the failure of the pipe was, see exactly what we need to replace in the trench in terms of the pipe. Once we have that identified, then we can actually start the repair process. Once we have the repair complete, we'll flush the mains out, clear everything out of it that might be in it in the impacted area. And then once that is set up, we'll get water back to people, but it will be in a boil water for that 100 to 150 people. So I make sure that everybody understands that the current situation is the water is adequate water pressure and the water is safe and has been from the minute we got this one. The difference in calls and stuff like that have come into us. I think I've gotten 3 or 4 calls on this instance, in this situation, versus the one previous one we had hundreds of calls. So This is totally different situation from what happened on the northeast side.
So, also the last time, once the water was shut off and the water boil advisory was put in place, there was a time period that was required before the water boil advisory could be dropped. Is that going to be the case again?
It will be for the 100 to 150 customers that are going to be impacted.
And how long is that time period?
We err on the side of caution and go 2 consecutive samples, so that's 48 hours from when the first sample was drawn. Technically, you can get away with, I think, 16 hours in between, if I remember right, from the regulations and stuff like that. So plan on 2 days, 2.5 days or so from when the repair is made.
Do you know exactly what time your crews got here and how long they've been here?
First call that I got on this was at 4 a.m. It's a difficult time to call people out at 4 o'clock in the morning to get them to respond. But we had crews showing up on site at 5:30. We actually had someone driving the neighborhood looking for a potential main break at about 3:30, 3:45 this morning, trying to identify the location of it. And that's when I was notified it was about 4 o'clock.
How many crews do you have out here right now?
I can't tell you how many we have. I'm guessing we probably have 3 full crews at least. We also have our collection system technicians. They're the ones that handle all the sanitary and stormwater maintenance and things like that in terms of cleaning and make sure there's no backups. We have every single one of them, which I believe is over a dozen, like 15 or 60 of them on site. Those will be the ones that will be going door to door to notify people about potential claims and things like that. They have experience with this. This is what they do on a regular basis. And then later today, we'll have staff, once the water is shut down, we'll go door to door with those jugs of water to those that are impacted by the boiling water.
Severe weather potentially rolling through this area tonight. How's that changing plans? How's that? How are you guys adjusting
Well,
to that?
we can't work in the severe weather. That's a safety issue for our crews and stuff like that. And depending on how many we're out here and how many we have available to us, and when we get this shut down and when we start the repair, obviously we have to do the missed dig requests as well to make sure that there's no other utility or no DTEs on site already, checking things. There are some concrete squares that are in the trench that you can see through the water. We want to make sure that there's no gas leaks or anything like that. That's a very important part of the process as well. That usually takes a couple hours to clear emergency missed dig tickets. So we'll have some time in that as well.
Is there worry that excessive rain could exacerbate the issue?
I don't think so. There's enough water flowing out of that pipe right now that once we get it shut down, as long as people stay clear of the intersection, it shouldn't be an issue. The rain, it might fill up the trench, but it won't be a problem for us to dewater that in the event that we're not finished with the actual repair.
How many people are affected?
Right now, we're estimating, based on where we're at in terms of our shutdown, about 100 to 150. I'm erring on the side of the high side of that. Right now, the people that we know of that are going to be in the shutdown are along Adams, which is very few customers that are tapped into this main on Adams. That's between Sylvan and Calvin. And then Sylvan, there's a stretch of Sylvan from Boston to Adams. Philadelphia from Boston to Adams, I think, is impacted as well. And then we're looking at possibly another street on the west end of this bridge.
I mean, where do residents go for updates?
We're going to try to do our best on social media and stuff like that. We're going to make sure that we have regular updates going out to the media. I'll work with Steve to make sure from our comms office to make sure that when the water's off, we dewater when we started the repair, we'll let people know. It's going to be an inconvenience. The intersection's probably going to be shut down for at least a week, because then there's going to have to be a permanent trench repair that gets done once we have our repair done. So we should really try to avoid the intersection for the next week.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Wayne.
Take care.
Your last name again?
Jernberg, Jernberg.
Wayne W.